So I'm here at Royal Enfield, and they have many motorcycles. I am literally surrounded by Royal Enfield motorcycles. Many of the new models, many of the classic models. But I ride adventure bikes. I'm literally here to look at one bike. And I'm going up and down the row, and I'm wondering, why can't I find Royal Enfield Himalayan 450? And the reason is, they've tucked it away here in the back. Now, this is my first opportunity to see this bike in person. And the first thing I'm gonna say is, I was wrong. I am absolutely on record, having been recorded, saying it doesn't do anything for me. I loved the style of the old Royal Enfield Himalayan. I thought it looked classic and cool in every way. And when they came out with this bike, all I could think is, it's not really classic anymore. It's not really modern. It's just a hodgepodge of something. But I was wrong. Sitting here looking at this bike in person, it looks cool. This bike looks pretty awesome. The only thing that I'm gonna stick with and say I still don't really like is I do not like this extra mudguard. It is not working for me. I know why it's there, but no, I think it's taking away from an otherwise good-looking motorcycle. Nice wheels. Looks like this is the tubed one. I could be wrong. Now, man, that engine just screams Royal Enfield. I know this is new. I know it's not that boxy machine that they use from 350 to 650, but it doesn't look that modern. I am obviously, as a 390 owner, impressed with the products out of India. This right here, to me, looks like a solid step above my 390 Adventure. The welds look cleaner. Things look better buttoned up. Pieces look like they're designed to fit more solidly and without the gaps I see in my 390 Adventure. Again, until we get to that right there, man, that's gotta go. Bi-Bree brakes. I know they're supposed to be by Brembo, but as a guy who rides a bike with Bi-Bree brakes, I'm not convinced. But looking at this bike, kudos to Royal Enfield. This is absolutely a step up from my 390 Adventure. I'm very, very impressed. The biggest disappointment of this trip is that KTM is not showing the new 390s here. I would love to be able to compare this product of India, the Royal Enfield 450, with my favorite product of India, the 390 Adventure. That'll have to wait for another time, but I have to say, Bajaj, you better have brought your A game, because Royal Enfield, they're building this thing pretty nice. Man, 1 minute I'm looking at motorcycles, and the next, I've been lost in Vegas as recently as last night, and Kyle Bradshaw literally had to come find me. But now I've gotten myself lost in the convention center, surrounded by ATVs, UTVs, four-wheel drives, some of which cost more than my car and my truck. Whew! I gotta get out of here because I can't afford any of this. All right, good news. I've gotten away from the vehicles that cost $50,000 and up, and we're taking a look at something that I only see at shows, and that is more custom motorcycles. These are custom creations in various styles. And let me tell you, they are like nothing you would ever see on a road. This is definitely going to be a show or a bike night only type of vehicle. Take a look at this Yamaha. David Chang of Cafe Racers of Instagram. Quite interesting. Very unique. Lots of fiberglass. But it still has a quad lock. Now this is a low bike. Roy's Toys Custom, Denver, Colorado. At Roy's Toys Customs on Instagram. That is a pretty bike. Like I said earlier at the customs, this is not exactly a direction I would go in, but I truly appreciate the art shown here. This is what I'm afraid we're going to lose with electric. I'm afraid that the future is going to be mass-produced, cheaply produced, generic vanilla things. Now, I'm a vanilla guy. I am just going to get a motorcycle, throw a couple of things on it, toss my Nelson rig bags on it, and I'm going to use it. I'm never going to customize anything. But I really do love that there's an entire scene going back as long as I've been alive, if not longer, where people take those vanilla motorcycles and make something else out of them. Now, Michael Messina of France, RD Custom Design, has made something out of a modern motorcycle and certainly, absolutely made it something unique. If I were to see this in Miami, I would think that, yeah, that's a local guy. I could totally see this being the kind of bike somebody would custom out to take to their local bike nights. This is something I can see on the road versus perhaps more of a showroom only type bike. Now this next bike is, all I can think is a prototype for a sci-fi movie. This thing's pretty wild to look at. Take a look at this. Basically, they said, what if all of the plastics were brushed aluminum? Let's gloss black a few of the plastic parts. Let's replace all of the fairings with brushed aluminum. Let's go with solid steel wheels. Now this isn't quite as artistic as some of the other bikes, and yes, to me it definitely looks like this is on its way to be a prototype for somebody's television show or movie. Definitely get that futuristic look to it. If you ever saw the terrible Battlestar Galactica sequel on TV back in the 80s, they had one where they rode motorcycles that flew. That could have been one of those. That's what it's made for. Now, I've read that our brains get stuck. At a certain point in our development, what we find to be cool, awesome, and attractive, it kind of just stops. Somewhere between 15 and 25. And I find that for myself, that is 100% true. Because as someone who grew up in the 70s, when I see bikes left over from the 60s and bikes designed and ridden through the 70s, it just warms my heart. To me, that's a motorcycle. To me, that's cool. I don't want to buy them. I don't even want to ride them, but they are in my brain. That's the era of cool. Take a look at this bike right here, because if you ever wanted to know what Frank's childhood looked like, this is it right here. Look at this Sportster. If I had a nickel for every Harley Sportster I saw on the streets when I was a kid with that fender and pipes that looked not quite as pretty as that, but mostly like that, that was my childhood. This was cool back before I was. I really absolutely need to get myself somewhere near a classic bike night so I can just immerse myself in 60s and 70s motorcycles. I would absolutely love it.